is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. This is going to be more of a traditional football Friday by the sense. It also is kind of feel untraditional because I don't think for this one I'm going to go full X and O's between the Eagles and the Commanders. Just because there's been so much stuff being talked about the past couple of days, especially, the whole discussion with the whole tush push thing with the Eagles and a lot of, media beat reporters around the league, some coaches, the defensive coordinator from the Washington side, just constantly complaining, constantly, bringing up the QB sneak and how it should be banned because the Eagles found a way to perfect it, and they always go with this comments that it's so easy and all that stuff. So we're definitely going to get into all that stuff too. And also Chris Sims disgusting comments about Jalen Hurts and about, basically wanting to give him a concussion. That is basically what the summary is about that entire comment that he made on television. So there are going to be some stuff going into that. That's probably going to be the major, meat and potatoes of this stream. The quarterback sneak and all that stuff and the Chris Sims stuff. We'll talk about a little bit with the Eagles and the Commanders, but basically, we'll talk about the injury report that came out today and, some good, some maybe some news about that. So there's definitely stuff going on throughout this day that will lead up to, finally a 1 o'clock Sunday game because that is the best time to watch football. You can wake up early in the morning, you can prepare yourself, you got that nice little 1 o'clock game, and then you can, enjoy the rest of your night. Do whatever you got to do right after the game, and then basically enjoy yourself. You can eat dinner, you can relax, maybe put on some of the other late night games, sit back, watch some television, binge watch some shows, watch a movie, whatever you got to do. 1 o'clock games are perfect. That's basically the entire summary there. But Eagles do have a game to play. That is the most important thing. And now, at least with the Phillies already clinching their wild card spot, basically we're not even paying attention to these last few games with the past couple of days, somehow the Phillies winning by coming back down from 5-0 while being hungover. That is the most hilarious thing possible. And then going through last night with the whole debacle of Angel Hernandez throwing out Bryce Harper on the worst check swing call that I've ever seen in my life. And then Bryce Harper throwing his batting helmet into the stands for a kid to catch it. That was just, the complete icing on the cake. So we'll get back to the Phillies eventually when we get closer and closer towards the wild card series, which is, this upcoming Tuesday. So most likely we'll probably be doing something on Monday or something like that to prepare for that. But for right now, we'll talk Eagles, we'll talk all that stuff. And this, I did plan to do this a little bit later, but I realized I have stuff to do later, so I decided to move it up to, around, the early evening stuff, around 5 o'clock, 5:30. So if you guys are not able to tune into the stream right now, you can always view it later tonight. So basically just to get this out of the way, put a nice live stream up. I could always do, the nice recording and all that stuff, but I don't feel like editing. That's just me being lazy. So it's going to be a live stream. If you guys tune into it later, it is what it is. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this week. Eagles versus Commanders, 1 o'clock this Sunday afternoon at the Lincoln South Philly. I really don't think there's anything to be concerned about with this game. The Eagles are better than tenfold of the Commanders at this point. Did the Commanders get a nice 2 wins to start the year? Yes, but then they went up against a Buffalo Bills team last week and they got basically destroyed, scoring only 3 points. Sam Howell got picked off, around 4 times or something like that. So yeah, Washington did not have a good game last week. Yeah, will they have a little bit of a chip going on into their shoulder this week, especially against the division rival, especially, since they were one of the few teams to beat the Eagles last year, especially in Lincoln Financial Field? Yeah, there's definitely going to be a chip on their shoulder. But I'm confident in this Eagles team. I'm confident in Jalen Hurts. I'm confident in this defensive front. I'm confident in this offensive line and everything there. I'm confident in the run game. I'm confident in, DeAndre Swift. I'm confident in A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and all that stuff, and Dallas Goedert. So I'm very confident. I think this is going to be the game that Jalen Hurts is going to come back to MVP form in front of the home crowd Sunday afternoon. I think we're going to get something special here from Jalen Hurts. That's what I fully believe, and especially with all the talk going around about the hate for Jalen Hurts and about the whole quarterback sneak thing, I think that's just going to put a little bit more fuel into the fire of Jalen Hurts to do something special. And I think that's what we're going to see go down Sunday afternoon, and that's going to be a very fun thing to watch. I do expect the Eagles to win. I do expect them to go 4-0 on to the year, which will be an incredible thing basically at the quarter point of the season. So that's going to be good. And then when basically you move on to the rest of the schedule, eventually there's going to be a game where the Eagles inevitably lose. They're not going to go undefeated on the season. They're going to inevitably lose a game. That game, however, I do not believe it's going to be on Sunday. I do believe the Eagles are going to improve to 4-0, and I cannot wait to see what this team does back on their home turf. I cannot wait to see it whatsoever. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time. And to speak of the injury report, we did get it this afternoon, so there's some good things. There's some, questionable things. Sidney Brown did not participate in practice with the hamstring injury, so it does not look like he's going to be playing on Sunday, so that definitely sucks there. He did make the nice play on Mike Evans on Monday night to prevent a touchdown from happening, but he did leave that game early, so it definitely sucks to see for the kid. Fletcher Cox, he was limited. He's going through the bumps and the bruises of playing in the NFL for so many years. He's going to play. It's not going to be worried about him, so that's definitely no question there. Devontae Smith was a limited practice today because he was sick, but I do expect him to be fine, good to go for a Sunday. Quez Watkins, with the hamstring injury that he got last week against the Vikings. So that's good to see that he's in limited practice, so hopefully he'll be returning in the near future. So that'll be good to see. Zach Cunningham, full practice with the rib injury. It's good to see Landon Dickerson get a full practice after he left Monday's game early as well. Cam Jurgens had a groin situation, but he participated in full practice. And it's also good to see Boston Scott be a full practice participant as well, since he missed the last week game after going out of the Vikings game with a concussion. So that is very good to see from the Boston Scott situation. And basically overall, you're just looking at, some guys that are not going to be playing, basically just Sidney Brown. That's the most important thing here. Of course, your secondary is constantly getting shot at this entire time. So, as the weeks go along, that's going to get worrisome, but you might be getting healthier and healthier and healthier at this point. But we've seen flashes from basically Reed Blankenship since the start of the season. So I'm very confident with Reed Blankenship, James Bradbury at the nickel, Darius Slay and all that stuff. So I could be very confident in those situations. Josh Jobe had some nice, plays last week as well. So I'm not overly worried about this team, and that's basically it. I'm confident that this team is going to take care of business this Sunday afternoon and going to have no worries whatsoever with this Eagles squad going up against Washington. I expect a nice 4-0 after this Sunday. So now going into the other topics that we have for today, basically, it's, kind of summed up into two things here with the whole everyone complaining about the Tush push situation and everything there, and how everyone thinks it's around the league thinks it's basically it should be illegal, it should be banned, and that the Eagles are just basically taking advantage because they found a way to perfect something. So it's kind of getting aggravating. You get the Washington Commanders defensive coordinator talking about it. You get the whole Chris Sims situation talking about with Jalen Hurts and, how to prevent the quarterback sneak from consistently happening and all that crap. So we do have the audio for those two things. I'll bring them up momentarily. But just overall with this whole quarterback sneak, tush, push crap and all that stuff, why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? Is it just becoming a thing because the Eagles found a way to perfect something? Because everyone around the league that keeps talking about it are saying, it's not the prettiest play in the world. It looks very easy. The Eagles complete it nonstop. It's one of their, de facto moves when they get the 3rd and 1, 4th and short and all that stuff to just get an easy first down. When they get the 3rd and goal, 2nd and goal right on the goal line, they just use Jalen Hurts, and they use the 2 running backs and the tight end to freaking push him through there, even though Jalen Hurts squats 60 billion pounds at this point. So it's ridiculous how strong he is with his legs. And then you also got this dynamic offensive line that just gives all the help in the world. The Eagles found a way to perfect it. The Eagles found a way to perfect this play. It's not illegal. It's no issue with it. if people around the league that are just saying it's constantly easy to pull off, constantly easy to do this, it's the easiest play in the league, then why don't other teams perfect it? Why don't other teams have the same success rate as the Eagles do with the quarterback sneak? The Eagles used it a lot last year. The Eagles have been using it a ton this year. Why don't I see other teams using this? Why don't I see other teams with the success rate that the Eagles have? It's because it's not as easy as I think it is. It's not as easy as you think it is. When you have this dynamic offensive line, when you have Jalen Hurts that squats so many pounds, when you have guys that are able to push him through everything, yeah, I could see why the Eagles have such a high success rate with it. But then you see other teams around the league. I believe the Colts in week 1 or something like that, they tried the quarterback sneak. It failed. Even, sometimes the Eagles do get stopped on the quarterback sneak, but it doesn't really matter because they'll do it the very next play and they'll complete it. Seriously, I firmly believe the Eagles can go an entire game just doing the quarterback sneak and they'll find a way to win. Not actually. I'm just, trying to be emphasizing there. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how all these people, and you're talking to quarterbacks around the league and all that stuff, the players around the league, they have no issue with it. They have no issue with it at all. The Eagles found a way to perfect something. They should be able to use it. It's just all these old heads, all these people that don't like the style of the play, that think it looks ugly. They think it doesn't belong in the sport. They think it's way too easy. No, it's like, seriously, you hear it on every single broadcast, someone complaining about, oh, this doesn't look like a pretty play. You see, you hear Al Michaels on the Thursday night broadcast against the Vikings complaining about it, and then you hear on the Monday night broadcast them complaining about it. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous on how just because the Eagles perfected something doesn't mean it has to be banned. And it kind of feels like it's that way. Because if the Dallas Cowboys were doing this, I don't think anyone around the league would have any issue with it. That's just me. If the San Francisco 49ers were doing this on a consistent basis, they wouldn't have an issue with it. If Patrick Mahomes was doing this constantly, they wouldn't have an issue with it. For some reason, it just kind of feels like it's hatred towards the Eagles because they found a way to perfect something. And they're successful at it. So, that's my issue with the entire thing. So, let's go to some of the, these comments here on the Tush Push. So we got the Washington Commanders, Jack Del Rio, talking about the Tush Push and how he thinks it's a stupid play, on how he thinks it should be illegal, it should be banned. So let's bring this up because, Eagles are going to probably use this against him on Sunday, no doubt.
Just kind of curious your thoughts on it, if you think it's legal or how it should be handled.
Well, it's not being officiated as illegal, so we just have to prepare for it. I mean, I would personally like to see it eliminated, not just because they run it better than anybody, although they do run it better than anybody, but I don't think that's a football play. I think it's a nice rugby play, and it's not what we're looking for in football. But until it's outlawed, we'll prepare for it and get ready to do our best to stop it.
Because it's a rugby play. That's why. It's a rugby play and all that stuff. Seriously, I want to see the Eagles find a way to, constantly exploit it. You just give the ball to a random back. You give the ball to a random lineman. Give the fucking Jordan Mailata, and he'll show you what a fucking rugby play is as he bulldozes everyone in front of him. That's basically what it'll be. It'll be very fun to watch and very hilarious. Seeing Jordan Mailata just completely run over the opposition as he, hangs on to the ball and all that stuff. It's ridiculous on how many people hate that play. It's a joke. It is a joke. It really is. And it also ties into the whole Chris Sims thing on how him talking about ways to stop the quarterback sneak. And, basically, he sums the entire thing up as giving Jalen Hurts a concussion. He tries to hold back, saying like he doesn't mean it that way. You just got to hit him hard. You got to make him scared. You got to make him, think twice about running that quarterback sneak constantly. It just comes off like he's a douchebag because Chris Sims is a douchebag. That's basically it. Seriously, why would you be rooting for another player to get hurt? And for some reason, Chris Sims just has this hate towards Jalen Hurts because he left him off of his top quarterback list so many years ago, and then Jalen Hurts made him eat a ton of shit because he put up an MVP caliber season, and he just continued with the narrative that Jalen Hurts isn't as good as he's playing. He's playing way over his capabilities and all that stuff. There's so many things around this Eagles squad that help Jalen Hurts get better, but no, Jalen Hurts is not that good of a quarterback. I'm going to prove it. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. That's basically what he is. He refuses to admit that he was wrong. That's basically it. Refuses to eat his own shit. And he's been eating a ton of piles of shit because of how great Jalen Hurts has been. Yeah, Jalen Hurts has been his best in the first 3 weeks of the season. He's going to get better as the year goes along. He's going to. I'm not worried 1 cent at all. And then you go on your stupid show talking about, oh, we got to make him scared. We got to run into him. We got to bulldoze him. We got to hurt him, basically. To stop the quarterback sneak. Oh, stop the dreaded quarterback sneak because that's the easiest play in the world. It's the scariest play in the world. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Because no one else can do it, apparently. Get out of here. Get out of here. Let's play this Chris Sims thing. Let's play it so you guys can just hear it.
But they know. And then, the other thing that's going to stop it is, and which is like, if I was a defensive coach, I'd be going with go ahead hunting on the quarterback here. Go ahead. Let him have it. Dive over, go crazy, try to kill the quarterback. That's what I would do.
Okay.
I don't mean it like
First of
that.
all,
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
No, I did, but
I didn't say that, first of all.
But here,
second of all, that's not what Chris means.
Yeah, I don't mean kill, but I mean just make them pay, make them think twice about doing it. But the other aspect it is like, yeah, there's some teams doing it, but they know. And then
basically just saying, give Jalen Hurts a concussion. Go headhunting. Make him scared. Give him CTE. Do all these things to make him stop doing a quarterback sneak. Basically there. It's a joke. It's a joke that's the case. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. He's a gigantic douchebag if that's the case because he refuses to admit that he was wrong about Jalen Hurts. He always has these terrible takes about Jalen Hurts and all that crap, and he just tops it with saying that, oh, the one way to stop the quarterback sneak, oh, defensive coordinators around the league should be constantly going after Jalen Hurts and try to give him a concussion. And they try to hold it back saying that's not what he meant, but he meant it. He meant it. He wants to see Jalen Hurts hurt for some reason. It just doesn't make sense. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. And for some reason, this guy still has a job in media. Seriously, this dude used to be a quarterback. Not a good quarterback in that fact, but why would you be rooting for one of your own guys to get hurt? Seriously, is it that much of a joke? Because you weren't a good quarterback during your career, you didn't find a way to improve? That Jalen Hurts had all of his doubters in the world, and he just constantly improved year after year, and he found a way to fight through the adversity. You're just jealous of it? Is that the case? Is that the case? Because I have no idea. I have no idea. Chris Sims is just a loser. That's the bottom line there. Chris Simmons is just a loser. That's all it is. Just a loser. A loser. A loser. A loser. A loser. It's amazing, boys. It's amazing on how one guy can be so jealous of a player in the NFL. It's amazing. So, before we end off this stream, basically, it was going to be more of a quick hitter than anything since, I'm going live at a time that people are not usually around and all that stuff. So, we're going to roll with the Anytime Hotline. We're going to respond to that. And then maybe if there's some guys here in the comment section before we end it off, we'll end it off there. Give some predictions about the game and all that stuff. So let's roll with it right here. Let's get to the Anytime Hotline. Sean, what do you got to say?
Amadeo, happy Football Friday to you. Let's cover some things here. First of all, with the Chris Sims thing, you ever notice how some of these supposed analytic experts are the ones that sucked as players? Chris Sims, Dan Orlovsky, etc. I don't pay a lot of attention to what Chris Sims says. I think a lot of times the producers of these shows have them say something outrageous to elicit fan reaction. I never gave a shit about the talking heads, and I never will. As for the game, look, the game that Washington won in Philadelphia, they were able to dominate with the running game with Brian Robinson. The Eagles have been tough against the run. I don't think Washington is going to have that kind of success. What worries me are the injuries on the back end. I mean, we could be down 2 safeties. You know, Terry McLaurin seems to go off against us. And watch out for Logan Thomas, their tight end, who's pretty good. I'm sure Washington's going to look to exploit that matchup. But overall, I think the Eagles know that we owe them something for stopping the winning streak and winning in Philly last year. I think the Eagles get it done. I would say my score would be 34-20. You know, it might be close early, but I think the Eagles pull away late, hopefully, and go to 4-0.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Washington overall. Yeah, the injuries in the secondary are a definite concern, but when, you know, Sam Howell was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league because the Washington O-line can't protect them for hell. With this defensive front with Jalen Carter, with Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, and especially, you know, if Hassan Reddick goes off or Josh Sweat goes off, they're going to make Sam Howell's life a living hell. And they're basically, you know, Washington's probably going to try to do the same thing as every other offense has done the previous couple of weeks, get the ball out quick so it prevents this dynamic defensive front from even getting close to the quarterback. But I think what we saw in Washington last year when the Eagles sacked Carson Wentz 1 billion times, it could be the same type of result going up this week against Sam Howell. This defensive front is hungry, man. And yeah, definitely the Washington Commanders' defensive front is no joke in its own. They got some very good players on their defensive front as well. But then they're not going up against the quality of their own offensive line. They're going up against the Eagles' offensive line with, you know, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce, a young Cam Jurgens, Jordan Mailata. They're going up against all these studs on the offensive line, and it's going to be a nightmare for them to even get close to Jalen Hurts. So maybe we'll see situations where Jalen Hurts has all the time in the pocket in the world, and then he finds that open man, whether it's Devontae Smith, whether it's A.J. Brown, whether it's, you know, Dallas Goedert or anything like that, and they got a wide open yardage for like 30, 40, or even goes for a touchdown. So I'm not worried in the slightest there. This defense seems to stop the run. They seem that's to be the most successful thing that they can shut down. Yeah, the passing game could be, you know, with all the injuries in the secondary and all that stuff, but if you get the Sam Howell, you make him scared, you make him run around in the pocket, you get some sacks on him, you'll be good. You'll be good. And like I said, I expect Jalen Hurts this week, you know, with all the stuff talking about with the quarterback sneak. I know the Eagles are going to be doing it a bunch of times this week despite so many people in the NFL because it felt like they did it last week, and I feel like they're going to be doing it tenfold this week. Whenever they get close, whenever they get like a yard or 2 yards or an inch to whatever the goal line or getting a first down or something like that, they're going to abuse the hell out of it because they're going to spite everybody in the league because you know why? We could pull off this move. This is our move. We perfected it. Why can't we use it? It's not banned because for some reason people want it banned because no one else can perfect it. We can, no. We can. Jalen Hurts and his 60 billion squatting pound self, this offensive front and everything there. It's fantastic stuff. It's some fantastic stuff, definitely. Definitely. Man, oh man. So if we're looking at this week, I think the Eagles win. I think a 2-score game. I think it'll be a 2-score game. Maybe like what Sean said. I think it goes to maybe the 34-20 route or something like that. A nice 2-score game, nice and comfortable. You don't have to worry about anything. I think the Eagles go up big early, and then maybe Washington tries to do something in the third and the fourth quarter. But, you know, when the Eagles defense gets a little bit tired, you know, eventually that happened against Tampa Bay when they thought they were going to have something in the game. And then, you know, Todd Bowles just decided to wave the white flag with 9.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Maybe something similar like that happens. I do expect it to be a nice, comfortable win for the Eagles on Sunday, and we're going to improve the 4-0, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. So that is going to do it for tonight, everybody. Not sure what we're going to be doing this weekend in terms of video stuff just because Phillies don't matter. Oh, obviously Sunday, that'll be the Eagles recap. Maybe tomorrow we won't do anything because, you know, I'll be going to the Flyers preseason home game tomorrow, so I'll be getting home late for that, so who knows what's going to happen in that process. So most likely, if we don't do anything tomorrow, just look out for the Eagles recap on Sunday, and then most likely that following Monday, That'll be the preview day for the wild card series with the Phillies and whoever they're going to be playing in that wild card series, because right now nothing has been determined because no one else has clinched yet. So that's definitely going to be some fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for joining tonight. If you didn't join during the live stream, if you're viewing this later on in the night or even tomorrow, have that be, and all that stuff, I appreciate you for it. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I like to read those. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are currently in the live stream or if you're viewing this later on in the day or the night. If you're new to the channel, if you're a current subscriber, definitely recommend it to other people. I appreciate you guys for hitting that subscribe button and doing all of that. I love you all for it. Also, use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Do not pass it up. Thank you once again, everybody, for tonight.